There's a hole in your logic. You who know all the answers. Oh,
smarts to fight them. The Skipjack is also quite a noisy submarine, something that's not really portrayed very well. They did attempt to quieten the Skipjack earlier in the... when it started to get outdated, there was attempts made to quiet the Skipjack as Russian sonar equipment became more and more sensitive. The Skipjack was just becoming, louder and louder. It was becoming more and more obvious. So attempts were made to quieten it, but they obviously weren't looking to spend a fortune, and it was only real basic. I've got cat hair all over my microphone. I don't know where that's come from. I think my cat's been doing some live stream. There we go. So it's one of those ones. The submarine was pretty much outdated by the 1970s, and here we are using it in the 1984 campaign. So we're definitely on the back foot. The fire control systems are very limited for the Skipjack submarine. It can only carry Mark 48 torpedoes and MOSS decoys. Those are its only weapon outfits. It doesn't carry any missiles, any TLAMs. It is a strict nuclear attack submarine with every sense of the word. Its test depth is also a very shallow 700 feet. We probably can get 800 feet out of that, but any lower than that is dangerous. And we only have one wire system, which means that if we shoot a torpedo, we can only guide one at a time, basically. So if we fire a spread, then every other torpedo except the first one we fire is going to be just going to its TTR point or its RTE point, and will then activate its search afterwards. So we need to make sure we set up the weapons beforehand if we're firing a spread. I forgot my scene change. I'm getting really bad at that, I think. That's the Skipjack. It doesn't matter. It's all right. You can see things now. I wasn't just reading off this sheet here. Just the notes. We'll read them out again. In service since 1959, the Skipjacks were the first attack submarines to feature the revolutionary teardrop hull design. This single, teardrop, very sort of. I don't want to call it spherical because it's not. Teardrop, almost. Designed hull, designed to better disperse incoming sonar. Though having been refitted with quieter propellers and towed arrays, these boats were designed for high speed and the lack of silencing and advanced sonars introduced in later classes. One member of this class, USS Scorpion, sank with all hands near Azores in 1968. Interesting thing about that sinking. Not really anything interesting. The sinking happened and nobody knew what happened. As to put it, the Scorpion just sank. Nobody knows why. A sort of an official investigation, and after finding the wreck site of the USS Scorpion, it was found to have sank below its crush depth. But because obviously it's like basically, if you can imagine crush depth, it's like putting a can of Sprite between a fucking like a car. Like one of those smashing things that you find at scrapyards, the ones that box the cars into the little cubes. Like, the poor can of Sprite doesn't stand a chance, and the Sprite goes everywhere. And that's basically what happened to the ship. There was so much internal damage as the ship basically folded in on itself, unable to keep out the pressure, the hydrostatic pressure of the sea around it. It basically crushed like a tin can. And the result was not being able to determine the cause of the sinking. All they know is that the crush depth, I think it was frame 33, which is known as the king frame, which was around here, which if you imagine an old stone bridge, you have the keystone in the middle. Basically the keystone is the thing that holds it all together. Frame 33 was the first to fail, and then frame 67, which is closer to here, folded immediately after after frame 33, the king frame failed, and the result, the force was so violent that it actually ripped. When those two frames failed, it actually ripped the submarine in half in those places, which you can imagine is a hell of a lot of force. That much water just crushing its way in. Pretty fucking nasty way to go. But because of the damage was so extensive, they couldn't find a cause of the sinking, so it's just one of those ones. Theories range everything from a torpedo going active in the torpedo tube and detonating, to a Soviet attack that caused it to sink and was covered up by the KGB. So, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones we'll never know. Interestingly enough, there were actually 4 different submarines lost during 1968, I believe it was. Yes, there were 4 military attack submarines, both of nuclear and diesel electric variety, lost in 1968 with no real explanation as to why. The K-129, which was the Russian submarine, you might have heard something about that with the CIA attempting to recover it. That whole operation where the CIA got that big boat and said they were mining for what's known as manganese nodules on the it's like a type of mineral deposit. Said they were mining for that on the ocean floor, but in reality they were recovering the Russian attack submarine. And then the other 2 was a French submarine that I can't remember the name of, and an Israeli submarine that the British had sold to them. That again sank with all hands with no real explanation as to why. So shrugs, I guess, shrugs and not knows. Right then, let's rock and roll, shall we? Right. So Commander Quebec, new command assignment effective immediately. You are hereby assigned command of Skipjack class submarine USS Sculpin, SSN 590. Good, congratulations and good luck in your new command. Did they get away with it? The CIA one, that is. There's so many, like, literally, the CIA story is so dodgy. Like, basically, the CIA, anybody that's not familiar with SOSUS, right? SOSUS was a series of sonar buoys that were placed in groups around the globe with basically sonar equipment attached to them, designed to track Soviet submarine movements. But because they can basically track everything, when the K-129 went down, the one that the CIA recovered, the Americans knew where it was before the Russians did. So the Americans go there, they take something ridiculous like 20,000 photographs of the site before attempting the recovery operation nearly 8 years later, 1976 I believe, the recovery operation was attempted. The way the story goes is that they... obviously, the CIA don't want the Russians to know that they're recovering one of their attack submarines because it's, a little bit, oh, well, it's not yours, kind of thing. So they disguise it as a ship that's designed for mining on the ocean floor, when in reality they are attempting to recover the submarine. And literally, they're trying to recover the submarine whole. They build like a big scoop, and they try and scoop up the submarine. Now, the way the story goes is that there was a critical failure on the scooping arm during the lift of the submarine, and what happened was everything from the back of the bow, so the conning tower, the midsection, midships, and the stern, all falls off, and only the bow is recovered. The bow had all of the nuclear missiles in that they were trying to recover, and a lot of the sensitive equipment, because a lot of the like the conning tower and the main sort of fighting compartment is all about here. So they only get this bit of the submarine, and the CIA supposedly lose all of this bit. Now, here's the dodgy thing. It's like basically when the Russians end up going to trying to find nobody can basically find the rest of the submarine. Basically, this much submarine fell off, and nobody can find it. Which the CIA officially say that they didn't recover the whole submarine, but literally nobody can find the stern anymore. Like, the stern's just gone. Nobody can find it, which makes you think maybe the CIA did recover the whole thing, but as an alibi for giving the Soviets such vague information, they say, oh, well, we don't have the whole thing. I suspect that probably the CIA did recover the whole thing. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, is that when they declassified the operation to recover the submarine, lots of stuff still remained classified. Like the terms of the recovery and things like that, and how much they recovered is still classified. Which, the fact that they declassified pretty much everything apart from the information that they were trying to hide makes you think that they genuinely are trying to hide the fact that they recovered the whole thing. Which is just crazy. The other thing that's generally disputed is the... Sorry, I'm waffling on. It was quite interesting. The other thing that's disputed about the sinking of K-129 is actually how it sank. There's a popular theory amongst the Russian Navy officers of the time that the submarine was actually rammed by the USS Swordfish, I believe a skipjack submarine, of the time. And basically, the reason they suspect this is because the swordfish actually, because you got to, the sinking happened in the Pacific, not far from a few hundred nautical miles from Hawaii, and then sort of a week later. In a naval base in Japan, the swordfish arrives in harbour for repairs for extensive damage to its conning tower and even having a bent periscope. The result of an absolutely devastating collision. You got to remember, these things are built pretty fucking sturdy, and there was a massive amount of damage to the conning tower. The official excuse for that, for the Americans, was that the damage was done surfacing through an ice sheet not far from the Arctic Circle. But the Soviet naval officers at the time think that the ship was rammed. History stories with Quebec, yeah. The bow, you mean the boog, exactly. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on. Some people are here for Cold Waters, others are here for history lessons, so I'll jump in, I think. We'll play some games. I could waffle on about it while we're playing. How's that? Does that suit you? Hopefully it does. There we go. So, we'll skip through all of this because we know the drill. Okay. Here we go. Instantly. There is a... Oh, sorry. Tactical situation. This is the 18th of November, 1984. 500 hours. 0500. A wolf pack of enemy cruise missile submarines is believed to be operating in an area about 200 miles north of Iceland. Important NATO naval forces will be moving into this region shortly. Therefore, you are ordered to find and sink all enemy attack submarines in this area. Intelligence believes that additional enemy naval forces may pass through the area. 200 miles north of Iceland. We are ROE yellow, which means we can only fire on designated targets. And the secondary objective is none, so we're just trying to find enemy cruise missile submarines and sink any additional contacts that come through the area. Now, repair and rearm. We're carrying 2 MOSSs. I'm actually inclined to just keep it as 2, take the default weapons outfit of 22 Mark 48s. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rely on our ability to evade torpedoes sort of with cunning rather than with instruments. So I'm actually going to leave them as they are and not take any more MOSSs. I know that's a bit of a gamble. It only takes 45 minutes to reload them, but I like having the extra weapons. So cast off. So we need to get north of Iceland by several hundred miles. There we are. So we come and sit up here and we wait to see. We're going to sit in the deep part of the Denmark Strait here. Just about here. Or just outside of the Denmark Strait, and we're going to wait to see what's going on. We're going to go at patrol speed, which is 10 knots. And just sort of circle briefly. There they are, we got them. Perfect. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 307. Designate Sierra 1. EXO reports depth is 150 feet, heading 025. Speed is 10 knots. Local conditions are scattered with a strong surface duct and weak thermal layer. Conditions are calm. Okay, all hands man battle stations. Rig ship for silent running.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rig ship for silent running. We're going to drop down to 5 knots and we're going to attempt to find them. Now, new sonar contact designated Sierra 1. He is off the port side bow. Let's begin identifying him as a target. We're likely looking for submarines here. There we go, his contacts are starting to shine out. Juliet, possible, mark.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine.
Now, Juliet class is a missile submarine. It has to surface to fire, but it is a cruise missile submarine. It comes equipped with medium frequency, passive sonar, and low frequency active sonar. Set 65 torpedoes are pretty crap. They're not bad, they'll still sink us in one hit, but they're not great either. Now, the target is sitting just below the thermal layer in what's known as the shadow zone. So he's probably creating quite a bit of noise. We're actually going to come down below him. Dive. Make depth 500 feet. There we go.
Make depth 500 feet. Dive high.
We're going to attempt to improve our detection of him by... Oh, actually, we're very close. First, sorry. Right, actually, dive. Cancel order. Okay. The reason I'm cancelling the dive order is that we are...
200 feet.
Yep, that's fine. We are literally just above this what's called a thermal layer and surface duct. Basically, as long as we're above this surface duct, we're a little bit harder to detect, but because he's below the thermal layer and it's only a weak layer, we're detecting him quite easily. So as long as we stay on the strong side, which is the top, and not the weak side, which is the bottom, we'll have an advantage in sonar detection. At the moment, the sonar, or our sonar crew on board, are trying to determine the exact range of the Juliet by the use of target motion analysis, by seeing, based on our speed and heading, where the contact changes its position in relation to the hull. Basically, if we're heading this way and the contact is moving that way, which it does appear he is, we're able to basically better deter. I'd read about it. It's difficult to explain. Or maybe I'm terrible at explaining it. Who knows? Did you watch the movie Down Periscope? No! I'm going to watch it tonight. Promise. Yep, his sonar's very close to picking me up, I know. Not exactly, but close. What we're going to do is we are going to make a left-hand turn now, bearing 350, and try and move into the contact's baffles. So helm, come left, 350.
Come left to 350. Helm aye.
There we are. So we're going to stay at 200 feet. We're going to use this thermal layer to our advantage. He's still sitting just below. He's trying to stay hidden at the moment, but because he's on the weak side of the thermal layer, we've detected him. He is also a semi-noisy submarine, which helps. The Juliets are not quiet by any stretch. They can only pull 18 knots as well.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con, helm, aye? Target is now pulling 8 knots, and it is deeper than us, according to this little thing here. Okay. Well, now we wait. We wait to see what's going on. Remember, this Juliet doesn't necessarily have to be alone. He could be part of a wolf pack of 2 or 3 submarines. Remember, they did say wolf pack. It's more than likely that he could be moving with a quieter submarine. Missile submarines could include the Delta class submarine. Again, very quiet submarine, very capable. You've also got Charlie submarines as well, which again are very quiet, could quite easily be sitting undetected. Echoes are also missile submarines. The Sierra, Alpha, Victors are not. Neither is the November, neither is the Kilo. The rest of them are just attack boats. But there's a handful of other cruise missile submarines that it could possibly be. So we need to keep our ears and eyes peeled at this point. What's the test depth of the skipjack? The test depth of our own submarine is 700 feet. We are a semi-quiet submarine running at 148 decibels, so we're not super quiet like the rest of our submarines normally are, but we're actually quite loud considering 148 decibels. If you consider that the target we're tracking is 160, 148 isn't that much quieter, so we're quite a loud submarine for what it's worth. Which is why, hello, there we go. We are in the contact's baffles now, -50 and -50. Helm, bring us left, bearing 303.
Come left to 303. Helm aye.
So our sensors have detected that we're no longer getting picked up by passive sonar, so we're able to now turn to the contact's baffles and engage the target. There we go. The contact is now pointing away for us. We are in the blind spot, so we are now going to fire a weapon at the target. Target is now much deeper. We're going to stay above the thermal layer. We'll let the weapon know to search deep. Okay. Target motion analysis is at 63%.
Con, helm, steady course.
We're pretty sure that that's where he is, but we can't know exactly. What we are going to do is we are going to fire now and hope that the bearing is accurate. So, firing point procedures on the bearing of Sierra 1, we're going to fire it about here. Range to enable, 16,100 yards. Bearing 290. Ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. Weapon is now transiting to its RTE point. Time to run on the torpedo is 17 minutes. 17 minutes. We're going to adjust the heading of the... No, we're not. We're going to leave the weapon on course. So we are now firing from stealth, basically. As long as the Juliet now does not change course, we are going to be able to basically shoot it without him really ever knowing we were there. We're going to keep the weapon warhead on passive homing. We're not going to turn it active. As soon as he starts... Basically, the only thing that basically gives away an incoming torpedo like this is this, the cavitation behind the weapon. Obviously, this little blade is spinning very quickly to make sort of 30, 40 knots, 40 plus knots. And so the amount of bubbles it creates is rather extreme. So the Mark 48 is a relatively quiet torpedo in terms of running, but has a lot of cavitation, which is what we can see there. So he may end up detecting the torpedo.
Con sonar, new contact bearing.
There we go.
316. Designated Sierra 2.
Sierra 2, aye. Let's begin TMA on Sierra 2. Helm, bring us down to 3 knots. Let's improve our sonar quality.
Make turns for 3 knots. Maneuvering aye.
So we have another contact. Right, let's begin trying to line up the dots. We're looking for cruise missile submarines that match. Could be a Romeo. Looks like it's a Romeo.
Maneuvering. Making turns for...
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Sierra 2 has a launch transient from there. Okay, we're going to snapshot on the bearing of Sierra 2. So, firing point procedures, bearing 312, range 12,200 yards, ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 4.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Lost the wire. We're going to leave it on passive homing and hope that it finds the mark. We've got an incoming weapon on us. Helm, change course, bearing 233.
Come left to 233. Helm aye.
Bring us back up to 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Juliet is now attempting to turn. Looks like the Romeo's radioed into the Juliet to tell him that there's a weapon incoming. Let's take a look at the depth of Sierra 2. Sierra 2 is possibly a Romeo running deep. We could try and stay above it, rather than dive below it, because we've only got a 700 meter test depth, which means we can't go much deeper than we are already. So we're going to stay shallower than the weapon for now. Dive, bring us back up another 50 feet to 150.
Make depth 150 feet, dive high.
Reload an MOSS in tube 4. The towed array starts to sink under 5 knots. Okay. So what's the speed between... Sorry, Alva? So what speed do I need to be going between? If I go slower than 5 knots, then it sinks. But if I go faster than... Is it 8 knots or 9 knots? Then it starts to rise again? Which one is it? Is the Juliet now speeding up? Juliet is still at 8 knots.
150 feet, dive high.
150 feet high. Still can't see the weapon coming in. Radio underwater. I suppose you're right. So the enemy warhead has just gone active. I still can't see it. So this is all happening in the... If there is no radio contact between the submarines, then this is all happening in the Juliet's baffles, and it has no idea what's going on with its teammate. That's pretty interesting. Hello, Jane. You alright? And Day Day, how you doing? Welcome aboard, sir. Hydrophones do exist. They suck, but they work. Okay, fair enough.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
I think I see the incoming weapon. It's searching very shallow, right on the surface. So we're going to have to go down. Dive. Make depth 400 feet.
Make depth 400 feet, dive high.
Take us down. Incoming weapon is searching shallow.
Noisemaker bearing 289.
Stand by. Juliet is right next to us. Enable weapon 1.
Weapon acquired.
There we go. The Juliet was much closer than we thought it was. Okay. So we've enabled the homing warhead of weapon 1. It is now tracking the Juliet. It's come up right on top of it before it knew it was there. Juliet is now making 11 knots. There's the incoming weapon, snaking search. Is the Juliet going to be able to evade our weapon in time? It doesn't look like it. No, it looks like we've caught him with his trousers down. He might get another decoy off. Hard to say at this point. Even if he does, it won't really be enough. The weapon's now far too close to him and he doesn't have enough speed.
Con sonar, noisemaker
Oh,
bearing.
we're going to
2,
turn it into
8,
him?
8.
Oh, no, I can't turn it into him for some reason. Oh, that's because I didn't have numlock on. Perfect. It's a problem that the Navy has all of the time, not having numlock on. Right, well, I've changed the bearing of the weapon now, which means I'm going to have to manually steer it into the target. There he is. Hello, friend!
Con
There
sonar
we go.
lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 2, 8, 6. Contact breaking up.
Okay, the incoming weapon is still going. We're now quite far away from the other contact. With the Juliet now destroyed, we can afford to go deeper. Dive, make depth 600 feet.
Make depth 600 feet. Dive by.
Take us down. Get us below the search cone of the weapon. Let's take a look at the Romeo's statistics then. It can make 13 knots. It's very slow. Nowhere near as fast as us. Reload a Mark 48 in 2-1. There we go. Did you check up down Periscope? I'm gonna be watching it after that. Probably after the stream, to be honest. To be frank. To be frank. Never mind. This weapon has not yet enabled. It is going to be enabling soon. The Romeo's trying to open distance on us. We've sank the Juliet, which is the cruise missile submarine. Now we've just got to see where the Romeo is. We're now down at 600 feet. Near as damn it. We've managed to evade the incoming weapon, the Set 65, or what weapon, whatever. Yeah, the Set 65 torpedo. Torpedo is not a very fast weapon and does not have a great warhead or a great homing warhead. Or great sensors, I should say. So we should be able to slip mostly undetected past this guy. In fact, I'm comfortable enough that we can turn back on the bearing of the target. So, helm, come right, bearing 312.
Come right to 312. Helm aye.
Okay, so we're coming back right. This weapon is going to enable soon. As soon as we're sure that this other weapon has missed us, we're going to speed up time and see if this warhead finds its mark.
Con, dive at 600 feet. Dive by.
600 feet. Can't I? Did you heard War Thunder is introducing the M1 Abrams and the Leopard? No, it's a shame. I don't really follow War Thunder that close.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 318.
Alright, Jane, see you in a bit. Right, so the weapon's
Con
coming
sonar
past us.
lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 318.
Con helm steady course.
Oh, a noisemaker was dropped.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 318.
Looks like our weapon isn't going to detect him. No, the weapon's detected something. It's getting confused by the decoys, but the torpedo has at least detected the target. It should make another hard right-hand turn now and attempt to find him.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 318.
Okay, so the torpedo has found its mark. He did not evade the torpedo in time, and now the Mark 48's passive homing warhead is attempting to track the target. Target acquired. Let's see how it does. Is it going to get him? Looks like it is.
Con sonar lost
There we go.
contact. Sierra
Was it
2,
a Romeo?
last bearing 318.
Let's see if it was a
Contact breaking
Romeo.
up.
Was it a Romeo? It was a Romeo. We identified that well. Perfect. Right, so we sank the Romeo. What we want to do now is we want to make sure that there's no other hostile contacts in the area. So we're going to give it a few blasts of active sonar and see if we get a return. So Activate active sonar.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
So we're now blasting the ocean and seeing if we get any sonar returns. Pretty happy that there's no other close contacts here. So, yeah, pretty good. Oh, there we go. That should be mission complete then. Looks like it was one Juliet submarine with a Romeo as escort. Switch to passive search.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.
Can't I? Right. We will hand in today's notice. We've completed the mission. Over, what? How many hours is that? It's like 10 hours. 10 hours after we set off. 9-10 hours after we set off. We've completed the objective. No vessels nearby, no weapons, no aircraft, and no flooding. Leave combat. 1 times Juliet, 1 times Romeo sunk. No need for MOSS or decoys. We remained mostly undetected throughout the whole thing. Okay, mission update. Congratulations on a job well done. Sinking those subs will keep our boys safe. New orders to be transmitted on this downlink. See you in a bit, August. Sub-killers. Incidents involving attacks on transatlantic convoys by hostile submarines in and around the Denmark Strait have rapidly diminished. An anonymous spokesperson suggested increased NATO submarine operations in the area are a contributing factor. However, the Pentagon has refrained to comment on submarine operations. Let me move my mic in a little bit. Without the threat of attack from submarines, transatlantic crossings are becoming more efficient and suffering fewer losses. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to take the fight all of the way back to the Iron Curtain. There we go. Okay, tactical situation. Intelligence reports that a wolf pack of enemy cruise missile submarines are again attempting to break out into the North Atlantic in the next few days, where they will wreak havoc on NATO convoys headed for Europe. Locate and sink the cruise missile submarines, so they're breaking out into the North Atlantic. We need to stop them. Doesn't say where, just that they're breaking out. Continue on course. So they're trying to break out into the North Atlantic Ocean. The question is, where are they trying to break out? Looks like we've got some ASW patrols coming into the Norwegian Sea here. Try and keep an eye on them. They're pretty much coming straight for us here. This is of concern. Looks like that could be our target. Looks like the sub... Oh, hello. They're trying to recon ahead of the submarine fleet. I think it's this contact down here. Oh. Contact. No, not contact. West Germany defeated. Shock and horror follows in the wake of the Soviet invasion of West Germany. Despite heroic efforts by West German armed forces, the sheer brute force and ruthless of the communist intruders could not be stopped. In the ongoing conflict, the Warsaw Pact seems to be holding up the upper hand. NATO's current inability to contain the Soviet fleet to its home waters may soon cause the Allies to lose the entire war. Okay. I don't know where... hang on. Those are the submarine fleets there. There we go. That's the fleet. That's the one that's trying to break out. We've got him. There we go. Intercepted. We got him. He was trying to go north of Scotland, so we've intercepted him. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 222. Designate Sierra 1. XO reports our depth is 600 feet. Heading 203. Speed is 5 knots. Local conditions, broken with a moderate breeze, moderate surface duct and thermal layer at 160 feet. All hands man battle stations, rig ship for silent running.
Ship for ultra quiet.
Copy that. Sierra 1 has been painted to our front. We could be in his baffles already, which would help.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 096. Designated Sierra 2.
Sierra 2I, stand by. We are now going to attempt to identify the targets. So we've got a very strong band here. Let's see what's going on. Lines up, doesn't quite line up with a Charlie. It could line up with the Charlie 1. We'll mark it as a Charlie 1.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine.
Looks like Sierra 2 might be some sort of civilian shipping. Let me have a look. It's way too loud. Is it an Aguma? I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think an Andazan would be this far over. Looks like it could be a trawler. I'm going to mark it as a trawler. It looks like that's too narrow for that part there. Doesn't look like these narrow bands here line up. And it doesn't quite line up here either. It's not a trawler. They don't line up. The Andazan lines up the best. I'm going to mark it as an Andazan.
Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as merchant.
How does the thermal layer work? I don't know the mechanics exactly behind it, but basically the gist that you need to know is that the surface duct affects above the layer, and being above it is affected by the surface duct, and being below this line is the thermal layer. Basically, depending on which side you are on the thermal layer, depends how easy it is to be detected. Basically, if you go up here, sonar travels much further. You are easier to detect and are more easily able to detect people. Basically, what happens is imagine this as a pocket. Sound gets trapped between the surface duct and the surface of the ocean, and basically bounces up and down, basically extending the search of your sonar, but also doing the same thing for enemy sonar. So you could find yourself a little bit vulnerable. The ulterior is the thermal layer. Once you are down here, sound travels doesn't travel as far because of the change in the temperature of the water. So what happens is my sonar will go here, and then it will start to fall off down here like that. So it won't go all of the way. It will start to fall off because of the density and depth of the water and because of the temperature. So if my submarine's here, I'm not really going to be detected. This area here is known as the shadow zone. So my sonar leaves a small gap up here where I can't be detected. There is also a very strong shadow zone right underneath the thermal layer that it doesn't tell you about, but it is there. It does exist. Okay, Charlie 1. We now have a heading for the Charlie 1. It is heading north, which means we could already be detected. Let's have a look. Charlie 1 signature. Medium frequency active and low frequency passive. We're at -2. Helm, bring us down to 2 knots.
Make turns for 2 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Submarine is on the same depth as us. We can't go much deeper than this, so we're going to maintain depth. We're now at -4 LFLF, low frequency passive. I hope you tweet your opinion when you watch Down Periscope. I will. People are really keen for me to watch it. It's not like some troll film, is it? Hello, Reese. Okay. So the Charlie 1 equipment, let's take a look at what it's got.
Con maneuvering. Making turns for 2 knots.
So low frequency passive, medium frequency. It's packing set 65s. It's a semi-noisy submarine with a deep test depth and a decent speed of 26 knots. There we go, Charlie 1. It is a Charlie 1. Okay, so we identified that well enough. We've now got to see what this Andazan is. The Charlie 1 is actually much closer than we thought it was initially. We're going to come right a little bit, bearing, left, 185, helm 185.
Come left to 185, helm aye.
He's at patrol speed 10 knots, which is pretty good. If he goes active, he'll basically just burn right through the water here and detect us instantly, in which point we've got to be ready to snapshot him from tube 5 as to try and maintain the wire. Thanks a lot for your explanation. Yeah, no worries. The thermal layer doesn't affect the detection if both of you and the target are on the same side of it. Oh, I see. Fair enough. I didn't know exactly. I was kind of just going from what my fuzzy memory of of it was. Looks like the Charlie there has got its planes in the up position, so it looks like it's rising a little bit. That's certainly right. It's coming up to a shallower depth. Looks like it was just screening the deeper water for a submarine, and it hasn't found one, so it's
steady course.
Gone back up. But we are here. We are definitely here. It's now going shallower. It didn't detect us, which is thank God. What we're going to do is we're going to work into the contact's baffles. So we are actually going to come left a little bit here, or back to the right, bearing 224, please, helm.
Come right to 224. Helm aye.
Whale Hunter Simulator. I don't have enough torpedoes. In fact, I do. I've got loads of torpedoes. In fact, it's the only thing the skipjack can bring. So, yeah, we got plenty of torpedoes. What we're going to do is we're going to come up to 3 knots. Maneuvering, make turns for 3 knots. 3 knots.
Make turns for 3 knots. Maneuvering aye.
To try and put it simple, the layer dents the search cone. Fair enough. So we're now coming to the right. Okay. Contact's still out there. He's levelled off at what looks like... oh no, he's come back down to 600 feet. Okay, well he's a little bit higher than us, sort of 550. Again, we need to work into his baffles at a reasonably decent speed here. Minus 5 on the low frequency passive array. That's fine.
Con, helm, steady course.
Can't I? Okay, so a Charlie... It's quite rare to see the Charlie submarines, actually. You don't see many of them.
Yeah.
Dingo, thank you very much, mate. Cheers, man. Lovely. Cool. Right. I want to speed up, but I don't want to risk detection. Is the target closing? Are we closing the target, or is he getting away? I'd rather him be making distance from us, so if that goes to 5.5, what I want is happening. Go on, do it. Again, he's at patrol speed. Come on. We're at a perfect distance from him. 5.4 solid. We're literally just dancing on the edge of the detection threshold. It's pretty nice.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Gas or whales?
Thank you, Edna. And thank you, Dingo. Gas all whales. Nice. So, are you from Japan by any chance? Ah, there we go. 5.5. Helm, bring us... I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. Bring us back up to 5 knots, please, Helm. Or maneuvering.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
The risk. Again, we're still on silent running. We've just got to work into the contact's baffles. -2. Do I risk it? Do I keep risking it? Yes. Yes, it's worth it. It's worth it. Doesn't look like the Charlie 1 has any kind of towed array system that I can see. So yeah, we'll keep it at 5 knots. Again, as soon as these contact signatures close into the -50 and -50 tab, we will be in the contact's baffles, and we'll be able to fire a weapon at him. We're going to stay on this course. We're going to let the target open range with us, because he's only at 5,000 yards. That's nothing. The Mark 48 will be on top of him instantly. What is the objective? What is the objective of this game? And are those other players or bots? They are in fact other bots. Sorry, I had you going there. They are in fact bots. They're AI, and this is a single-player campaign in which you play a nuclear attack submarine during the Cold War. In the event of a Soviet invasion of Western Europe, the Warsaw Pact. So you basically are a nuclear attack submarine, in this case the Skipjack, and we are fighting AI Soviet Navy forces. Not just submarines, we can fight surface contacts as well, like ships and carriers and all kinds of things. Is there a multiplayer? There is not. Apparently the multiplayer was never planned for this game, but based on the game's success they may do one. Well, it's not even that successful, this game. It's not really sort of taken off in some kind of AAA way, so they may never even put the multiplayer in, but if they do, I'll be well happy. Okay, speed 10 knots. Target is opening. We are just dancing on the edge of his passive detection threshold. As I say, we're closing at about 5 knots here. We don't want to go any faster than that because of his low frequency passive sonar. It will detect us. The old chin scratcher. If they turned this off, this game would be a lot harder. But considering it's there as a piece of sensory equipment on board our skipjack submarine, we might as well use it. We'll use everything we can to sink Soviet submarines. Again, we're playing on the hardest difficulty. We're playing on elite difficulty, which means the enemy sonar is actually a little bit over-tuned to us. So the fact that we're remaining hidden is nothing short of a miracle. Would you play the multiplayer if there was one? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be amazing. Not to toot my own horn. Oh dear. Sniffy sniff. Okay, not quite in the contacts baffles yet. If he makes a slight left turn, or a slight westerly turn, then things could get much more favourable for us. Target, again, is at only 6,000 yards. He is right next to us, basically. Like, he is not very far away at all. Which is why we're having to move so slowly. Again, we're just waiting for the sensory information to change. You should try trying to stop Womble from taking over the world. Yes. If this was multiplayer, I bet you the stream sniping would be horrible. Bet you can't even leave Holy Lock. Yeah, probably not. What I did, I brought myself a snack. I was a little bit hungry, but I did, you know, like when you're a little bit hungry, but you're not food hungry. What I have, I've got some mini Jaffa cakes. I know. What a time to be alive. Ow. We'll leave those there. Lovely. How did the respec with Messi go? Absolutely amazing. I might even be a bit cheeky and load up the save and just go and stab Womble a little bit. I'll make sure I heal him up, but I might, you know, show you what we've got. I went and found, so basically the respec consisted of me shuffling a couple of, there we go, minus 50. I'll fire in a second. The respec consisted of me reshuffling a couple of points, getting 2 firework runes for my daggers, and a couple of other things. There we go. He's making a slight left-hand turn there, which is why we've gone into his baffles. So we are now going to fire on the target. I also, yeah, so I found a new weapon by accident, and I also found, bought a new chess piece, which was very expensive. I really don't have any money left, but it's an amazing chess piece. It doesn't look very good, but it does have a cape. So, selling feature numero uno. So we look like we've walked into like a fucking charity shop and we've just left with whatever fucking stuck to us. But we hit a lot harder now, which is nice. Cool, right, so firing point procedures on Sierra 1, bearing 293, range to enable 5,400 yards, ship ready, tube ready, fire, tube 5.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Weapon is away and running normally. We are going to leave it on passive homing. What's the sea state? 88 decibels. It's quite loud, but it's quite a loud ship that we're fighting, so... Does anyone in the party talk with animals yet? No. So he is likely going to fire a spread of weapons at us, so we're going to come to
right
the bearing of the contact.
296, helm aye.
And we're going to start to ascend to 400 feet.
Make depth 400 feet. Dive by.
If he fires weapons at me, they might be at the same depth as I am, so I want to get over them. The first rule of armour is no capes. Yeah, I agree.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con helm, steady course. We're just crossed 500 feet. Then we've got to get over to this Anderzan, who's at 21,000 yards, and see what contact he is. See whether we need to sink him or not. It's likely just civilian shipping, and it's not going to get picked up, but I still need to find out who he is. Target is still pulling 10 knots. He is totally oblivious. The weapon is now a mere sort of 2,000 yards from him. He's not going to have long to react to this. He's in real trouble.
Con, dive at 400 feet, dive
400 feet, dive I. How dare you not have the Pet Pal perk? It's true. It's true. Maybe I'll just stab the dog, Ronick. I don't know. Hello, Tubbleberry. How you doing? How long is 1 yard?
Sonar.
Oh,
Launch transient
there we
from
go.
Sierra 1.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Fire control weapon acquired. We've got 2 weapons coming in. Are they maintaining depth? That's the question. Yes,
Con,
they are
fire control,
maintaining
weapon
depth.
acquired.
Okay. We're going to set
Con,
the...
fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
No, we're going to leave it as a passively homing weapon. We've got 2 weapons coming in at us. One pretty much heading right for us.
Bearing 297.
Or is it heading right for us? No, looks like we might actually slip between them here. If I raise another 300 feet,
Make
or
depth
300 feet,
300 feet, dive I.
this Charlie is going to get himself smacked. He's doing the right kind of manoeuvre. I'm leaving the weapon as passively homing for the moment.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last bearing
He's
0,
cavitating.
7, 8. Contact faded.
We got him. Okay. The Charlie's down. He tried to get to surface depth. Maybe he got it, maybe we did. We don't know. We've got 2 incoming weapons coming in shallow. 200 feet, please dive.
Make depth 200 feet, dive I.
Reload Mark 48 in tube 5. Again, we've got to try and get above these weapons. I'm just keeping it slow because I don't know who else is here. We're now going to attempt to screen for hostile contacts, so we're going to go active.
Con sonar switching to active search.
That weapon's gone active. Active
Con
weapon.
sonar switching to passive search.
Passive search weapons are going
Make
shallow.
turns.
Emergency
Con
dive.
sonar,
Take us
We
down.
are cavitating.
Helm, change course. Bearing 2030.
Helm right 2, 030. Helm I.
In fact, come
Passing
left. Sorry,
300
left.
feet.
270.
Come left 2, 270. Helm I.
Got to get below the weapon.
Passing,
Con sonar no longer cavitating.
passing 600 feet.
Level off the boat. Level off the boat.
Passing 700 feet.
700 feet. Full rise on the planes. No deeper, please dive. We're at 800 feet. Bring us back
Bring ship
down.
for ultra
Silent
quiet.
running. Make a head 1. Yep, okay. Release from silent running. Reload that torpedo. We're just meant to... It doesn't say how many we're supposed to sink, just that we're meant to sink...
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
Yeah, we've done it. We've evaded, I think. Point the Charlie.
Come right 2, 304. Helm I.
Just got out of that mess, didn't we? Holy shit.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 2, 6.
My name's Joe, and I
2.
like to jinx things. Right, all ahead. Flank,
Con, sonar.
30 knots.
Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 3, 5, 4.
Drop the decoy. It's not worked. Full rise on the planes. Oh, shit. 30 degrees right rudder.
Passing 700 feet.
Bubble off the boat.
600 feet.
$30 degrees, left rudder.
Passing.
Con, sonar. We are cavitating.
Passing 400 feet.
We are cavitating, we're coming up.
Passing 300 feet.
Right, steady course, all back emergency.
Make turns
Stop,
for
stop,
con,
stop.
sonar. No longer cavitating.
We're going to stay above the weapons. 10 knots. 5 knots. Hold.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering aye.
5 degrees on the ballast tanks. Bring us up above the layer. There we go. We are now right above the weapons, which means their search cone can't see us. We're going to hold here until the torpedoes detonate. There you go, you see? Because they're searching in a circle, us being right at the centre of that circle means they can't see us. Right, we are just above the thermal layer now. Perfect. Oh no, we got a one-ball raid coming. Brace yourself! Under the sea. Under the sea. Dive. That should be the host alert, shouldn't it? The dive alarm. Yeah, it should be. No, this isn't modded, pal. Just gotta wait for those torpedoes to run out of juice, basically. Right, let's just speed up time. Hopefully they don't do any damage to us as they explode. That wouldn't be great. They are. That one is reasonably close, but I'm hoping it doesn't explode. There we go. There we go. They both gave out. We didn't get killed. Right, let's screen with active sonar.
Con, sonar. Switching to active search.
Ahead 5 knots, please, Hel,
Make
or
turns
maneuvering.
for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye. Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 5 knots.
Right. Let's get on the bearing of the Anderson.
Come left to
080.
080. Helm aye.
Dive. Bring us up to periscope depth, PD.
Make depth 4, 5 feet. Dive high.
Not getting any hostile returns. Hello, Finny. How you doing? You alright? This sub again. Yes, Mr. Ivor. The Skipjack class. One of my favourites, actually. Right.
Con, sonar. Switching to passive search.
Switch to passive search. We're going to come up to 4 or 5 feet and we're going to raise the radar mast in an attempt to try and
Con,
identify
helm. Steady
where
course.
this contact is, the Anderson. Bearing in mind we're so close to the north of Scotland that we're comfortably in NATO territory at the moment, so hopefully we'll be okay. Right. Raise the radar mast.
Raise the radar mast.
Anderson. Master 2. It's Polish.
Dive at 4,
Does it
5
match
feet.
the
Dive high.
Anderson's picture? It certainly does. Is Polish Warsaw Pact? It is, isn't it? Polish is Warsaw Pact. Do we sink this boat? What game is this? This is Cold Waters. Right, so we've got a contact that we need to kill at 30...
Lower the radar mast.
Yep, we've got to close the target.
Come left to 075.
Dive,
Helm
make
aye.
depth 400 feet.
Make depth 400 feet. Dive
We're going to give chase.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
We're going to give chase and sink the boat.
Con, helm, steady course. Come left to 073. Helm aye.
You will only sink it if you outnumber them 40 to 1, it's true. You can't put NATO Poland right beside the Soviet Union. How can it? I'm not sure. What do you think the chat will answer about blowing something else? Yes, I can't fault that, but it is marked as a hostile contact. They're using an Andazan, which is a hostile merchant ship. It is a hostile merchant ship. And Poland, I believe, is part of the Warsaw Pact, which are the forces that are engaging us. It might just be a civilian cargo ship. This is what you have to remember. But the fact is that that civilian cargo ship there is of the Polish nation, which is part of the Warsaw Pact, and whatever cargo it has on board could be used to further the Polish war effort. So despite it being a civilian ship with no military escorts,
0 feet. Dive aye.
and not being directly contributed to by the military, it is still a civilian or a hostile of a hostile nation's supply line. So I need to cut this off. So let's speed up time.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 3.
Dive another 50 feet.
Knots.
Make depth 450 feet. Dive aye.
God, do we need to go another 50 feet down? 500.
Make depth 500 feet.
Con sonar,
There we go.
no longer cavitating.
We're cavitating again at 500 feet. Like, holy shit, 550 feet?
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Con, dive at 5.
Come left to 073. Helm aye.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Gas all trawlers.
Gas all trawlers. We're gassing all wares, gassing all trawlers. Jesus. It was in the Warsaw Pact until 1991. To be fair, 30 knots underwater is pretty fast. It's true. It's that teardrop hull design. It's both hydrodynamic and very good at dispersing sonar. You can see why the Americans went with it. So the enemy ship will be about here, which is... The enemy ship can only pull a max of 13.5 knots. So we're going more than twice as fast, which means by the time we've got here, he would have only got us half as far, so about there. So we're going to keep closing. He's probably at about 15,000 yards, but we want to be a bit closer than that for when we engage him. Really liked your Spin Ties stream, bought the game as well yesterday, managed to flip the truck. As a trucker myself, I'm ashamed. Yeah, I flip the truck all of the time. No, that should be what flipping somebody off should be called now. It's called flipping the truck. Fire all torpedoes. And Weirdo. Keep it up with his namesake there. Your voice is very pleasant to listen to. Oh, thanks very much. Right, we're going to slow down time. We're going to come up to periscope depth, which is going to be 4-5 feet.
4-5 feet. Dive aye.
We're going to start cavitating again. That's fine. Helm, bring us down 5 knots. Or manoeuvring.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Hello to all the new people in chat as well. Obviously Twitch is like, hello, say hello. Hello. There we go. So we'll say hello to you people. There we go, we're coming up to surface depth. Or periscope depth. I could do Nemi, yeah. Don't mind that.
Sonar regained
There we go,
contact on
Andazan.
master
We're much
2,
closer
bearing
now.
0,
We're now
6,
16,000 yards as I thought we would be. So we're going to raise the radar mast again. Radar? Yes, the radar. Sorry, I don't know why I thought that was wrong. I thought I was going to say gaydar.
Con, maneuvering,
It's a
making
sign.
turns for 5 knots.
What setting are you using to let the chat show who is new in chat? I honestly have no idea. I think it's just a normal setting. It's not like a modded thing or anything like that, or part of Streamlabs. It's just a Twitch thing. You can enable it in the settings, I'm pretty sure. Right, raise the radar mast. Let's get an accurate solution on the target. There it is. Target is 15,000 yards. So, firing point procedures on the bearing of Master 2. Range 7... let's go a little bit closer. Range 9.8 thousand yards. Bearing 069. Ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Weapon is away and running normally. Wire has been maintained. We're going to speed up time.
Con, dive at 4-5 feet, dive by.
And we're going to sink the Andazan. Yes, it's the steam that generates a lot of the noise. Basically, yes, steam generates noise in a nuclear power plant. We're just going to steer the weapon onto target.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
There it is. So now the weapon dives just a little bit. It's going to hit the Andazan right in the arse. A Warsaw-packed vessel. It is now sunk.
Con, sonar lost contact. Master 2.
That was a devastating hit, that was.
6, 5. Contact breaking up.
A nasty hit on the stern. It's basically collapsed the midship. Fire in the rear cargo compartment. Flooding is extensive. The engine is jammed. It's going to be going under soon. All of the lifeboats are knackered as well. Looks like nobody's getting off that ship. Down it goes. That's all the fuel gone, yep. Whatever's left is just going to be a nice fiery puddle on the surface of the ocean. It's going under at a hell of a speed. Nasty, nasty business. But it has to be done. There's a war on. You have to ask yourself, was this an unjust sinking of a ship? Because this ship quite clearly has either made, because it's heading back into the Norwegian Sea, it's more than likely either made port at England or it's come across from America. So we could have sank a friendly cargo ship here, for all we know. But again, it's Warsaw Pact. It was fine. The Warsaw Pact flag. We weren't necessarily weapons free on it. We were ROE yellow, which means we only could engage targets that were designated. But at the same time, this is a Warsaw Pact ship, so we've sank it. And that's how you make 100 wives sad and kids dadless. It's true. There's a sad truth to that, Nimit. And you are right. Excellent. Well, down it goes. Total water depth is 1,900 feet. It's got a long way to the bottom. Right then. Leave combat. No vessels nearby. 1 Charlie 1 has been engaged and sunk. We have 18 Mark 48s remaining. Cool. Excellent job on intercepting and destroying this high priority target. New orders to be issued shortly on this downlink. Perfect. Convoys protected. 21st of November 1984. World News. Incidents involving attacks on transatlantic convoys by hostile submarines in and around the North Atlantic have rapidly diminished. An anonymous spokesperson suggested increased NATO submarine operations in the area are a contributing factor. However, the Pentagon has denied such claims. Without the threat of attack from submarines, transatlantic convoy crossings are becoming much more efficient and suffering fewer casualties. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to take the fight all of the way back to the Iron Curtain. Excellent. Okay, so another mission has come down the pipe. 21st of November, 1700 hours. Tactical situation. Intelligence estimates indicate that an enemy Spetsnaz commando team will land from submarine in the vicinity of Torshavn? Oh no, in the What's-it Islands. Is it the Faroe Islands? Yeah, pretty sure it is. They intend to report our sub-movements and perhaps sabotage a naval base. You are ordered to intercept and eliminate them before they can land. Very well. Locate and sink enemy submarines transporting commandos, and locate and sink enemy escorting submarines if possible. Continue on course. So we've sunk this target. The enemy's going to be pushing in here. Let's keep an eye on the SOSUS line and see if any enemy submarines pop in. Lots of ASW patrols in the Norwegian Sea. We're just going to leave them there for now. We're going to stay on mission. No sign of this contact yet. Lots of our own MAP patrols flying over. Maritime air patrols. All of these big planes here with sonar equipment. Stand by, this could be our target here. It's moving quite slowly, it's more than likely a whiskey class. I want him to get a little bit closer before I identify him as hostile. He's checking in with the ASWs, anti-submarine warfare vessels. I'm going to stay at patrol speed, 10 knots. No sign of the contact. Here he is actually. This is likely him. This could be our guy. I'm going to intercept him. Here we are. Another newspaper article. Denmark surrenders. The Warsaw Pact forces are now in total control of Denmark after massive and brutal assaults. The aggressors are demanding the unilateral ceasefire and immediate handover of power by the political leadership of the country. The largely successful Soviet campaign may soon prove to be too much for NATO to handle. A series of highly successful Soviet attacks on Allied military and civilian shipping is quickly draining the NATO war supplies in Europe. This may prove fatal for Western forces in a slightly longer perspective. I'm going to intercept this submarine, see if this is the one we're after. It might not be, but we're quite close to the islands, so we should be able to make a decent run over to them if it's not them. Okay, Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 126, designated as Sierra 1. EXO reports our depth is 600 feet, heading 252. Speed is 20 knots. Local conditions are stormy with high wind. So it's going to be a lot of noise, which makes our detection threshold a lot harder because we're in an outdated submarine. Basically, the sea state is going to be quite active, which means there's going to be lots of background noise, and it's going to be much harder to pick out a submarine. There is also a very weak surface duct and thermal layer at 227 feet. All hands to battle stations, rig ship for silent running.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Okay, we did not reload tube 1 before the last engagement, but we still have tubes 2, 3, 5 and 6 all loaded with 48s. There is also no contacts. So we're at 116 decibels. We're going to have to fight this guy by basically alerting him to our presence. So we're going to screen for him now. Active sonar.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
We're going to go active homing on all weapons and get ready to fire along the bearing of contact. I'm expecting him to be up here. We're waiting for active sonar returns. We're trying to find him in the high sea state. Going to be interesting. Helm, come right, bearing 291.
Come right to 291. Helm aye.
He's trying to stay hidden. Very good conditions for an enemy submarine to try and sneak through the net.
Con, helm, steady course.
116 decibels, we're never going to hear him. Let's come up shallower. Dive, make depth 300 feet.
Make depth 300 feet. Dive I.
Right, sorry about that. Surprise visit. Right, okay, so what we're doing now is we're climbing...
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Oh, fucking hell, that's loud. Yeah, okay, 2-1-I. Yeah, we're changing depth in an attempt to try and see where the contact is. We're now going to come up above the thermal layer, or the to the surface duct, and see what's above it, using our active sonar. So dive, make depth 150 feet.
Make depth 150 feet. Dive I.
Ah, active return.
Come left to 123. Helm I.
123, launch transient from 123. Snapshot on the bearing of 123. Range 3,000 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, fire, tube.
Shoot tube 1.
Shoot
Aye,
tube
sir.
1. Second launch transient from there. Bearing 125. Snapshot, fire.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Lost the wire, aye?
Con, sonar, switching to passive search.
Passive search. Weapons are away. 1 times tube lost. 1 times wire maintained. We've fired 2 snapshots along the bearing of the contacts. Both of them have got active homing warheads, hopefully. This will improve our chances. So we had 2 separate active sonar pings. We have now fired on them. We're going to see if we find a target. I did. I gave myself away intentionally. My sonar arrays are not going to be able to detect them with a sea state like this. The weather is too bad. There's too much rain. There's too much water. There's just too much water. There's no way I'm going to be able to detect them using medium frequency arrays. So instead, I'm just going to have to search for them the old-fashioned way and use active sonar to reveal my position and then fire at the responding target. It's more than likely that the enemy has better sonar arrays than I do, so this is going to have to be how it is. I have to bait the enemy into shooting.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con, dive at 150 feet. Dive I.
Too much water in the sea, mate. I know. There's too much water. We're going to hold at 150 feet. There's a good chance that the enemy was above the thermal layer then. Stand by. One of our weapons has gone active. We're going to leave it on a snaking search.
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
But no, we're not. We're gonna take control of weapon 1 and we're going to steer it down the last known contact, bearing of contact, which was this direction here. We're going to see if it finds anything. We also need to see where the reactive fire is as well, because remember the enemy pinged us. So this one's running in snaking search and will hopefully pick up anything that this weapon doesn't. And this one's running straight to try and close the distance at a higher speed. Let's get this weapon just up above the thermal layer here. Come on, up you get. There you go. Let's get this weapon searching a little bit shallower. There's the enemy launch transient. Okay, so bring the weapon to the right a little bit. What torpedo is that? Looks like a Set 65. And it's pretty much right on target. So, dive. Flood ballast. Minus 30 degrees on the ballast tanks. Take us deep. 5 degree drop on the planes. I'm trying to keep the nose as level as I can in an attempt.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
There we go, weapon acquired. It's burnt through the sonar, and it's found a contact. Now we need to find out
Passing
what contact
200
it's
feet.
found. It's unknown. Another load of launch transients. It's fine. We're going deeper. We're going to probably hold off at about 500-600 feet because the weapon is searching shallow that's coming towards us. Again, I'm trying to maintain
Passing
the wire.
300 feet.
Looks like the other weapon's going to get hit, or is going to be found there. Which is annoying. It's likely both weapons are going to get sucked up on the same target. Certainly looks that way. Looks like a Romeo class, maybe the escort ship. There goes their launch transient. 2 weapons are going in on this target. That's fine though.
Passing 400 feet.
We were blind firing, so we can make up for our inaccuracy by firing another torpedo at him. There's no way he's going to evade 2.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 125.
This is okay. This is fine. It's a Romeo class, I know that, so just by looking at it. Still going
Passing
down.
500 feet.
500 feet aye. Incoming weapon is about there.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Weapon countermeasure homing aye. Enemy weapon is still approaching. Going to go active very shortly. I've got to make sure I'm lower than it, much lower than it. Keep diving. Now about to pass 600 feet.
Passing 600 feet.
600 feet aye. Let's hope he fucked up the range. Contact has been hit. There was some sort of explosion. They're venting. It looks like some sort of gas, likely oxygen or some kind of hydrogen. We've evaded the weapon.
Passing 700 feet.
Hold here, dive. I think maybe he expected me to run away, but I did the opposite and came towards him, which means the weapon is enabling too late.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
So we've evaded that weapon. Perfect. Excellent. Right. Another weapon's gone active short of us. That's fine. This boat is now sinking, so we've still got control of this wire, which is good. We're going to steer it out of the shitstorm that it currently inhabits. We're going to put it into a snaking search again. Right.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
So we're now switching back to active search in an attempt to try and find the weapons that are coming for us. Again, this weapon is shallow, so it should avoid us, even though it's active. We're at 733 feet, well below what this weapon should be searching for. We're looking for active sonar returns. We're getting nothing down this deep. We'll come shallow again shortly. I'm pretty sure there was another transient from over here, so let's set it into snaking search. Let's see if this torpedo can find everything. We've got 10 minutes of fuel left on this torpedo. There we go, and snaking search. We've just got to avoid this incoming set 65 here, and then all will be well. Look at that, sort of like fucking child's drawing of a fucking snaking path. I think it's called a fishing search, isn't it? Or a snaking search. Fish search, fishtail search or something. I can't remember. Something like that. We're getting no returns this deep, which is okay. I'm going to keep the active sonar on. I'm not convinced the Romeo was the target. I think there's another submarine out here which is the goal, and I need to make sure I sink it. So the Romeo... I mean, the Romeo could be the one we were after, but I doubt it. I doubt it a lot. So the weapon's just about to come past us here again. It's looking too shallow. It's not going to find us. Dive, bring us back up to 150 feet.
Make depth 150 feet. Dive high.
So the weapon's just going past us now. It's failed to acquire us, and now we're behind it, which means it's never going to find us now. Perfect. Okay. We're coming back up above this layer here. Hopefully we'll get another active sonar return. Let's set our weapon searching shallow, actually, our torpedo, just so it doesn't miss anything. We want to get it above the duct. There it is. Just like that. Snaking search again. There we go, we're on our way up. We're going to transit the layer very shortly, and then we're going to see if we can find anything on active sonar. Right, let's take a look at returns. Just over 6 minutes of fuel left on the weapon there. Getting no active returns at the moment. Dive the weapon. Okay, we shall dive the weapon. So dive it to 500 feet. Or just over.
Con, dive at 150 feet. Dive high.
Nope. Can't find the target. We're getting no returns either. Right, let's come up to PD. We're going to raise our ESM mast, see if we can't use the something like the electronic secondary modules or something like that. ESM to try and help detect the submarine. We're going to raise our ESM mast. Check out your window, it just started snowing. Yeah, it's been snowing all day here, but none of it's sticky. It's not good snow, it's really shit snow. It's like one snowflake every 15 minutes if you booked an appointment with the weatherman. Like, it's just not sticking. It's just nothing. Our mission, I can't even see your name there, Banator. I should put my glasses on. The mission is to find and sink hostile, basically a commando incursion team that's landing by submarine. Right, we're up at 4 or 5 feet.
Raise the ESM mast.
Raise radar mast as well, not that it'll do any good. Nothing on the ESM detection threshold. We'll up the scope as well. There's bollocks to it. There's
Con, dive at 5 feet. Dive high.
absolutely nothing.
Lower the ESM mast.
Well, that's it. We're just going to leave combat. So 1 times Foxtrot was undetected but ultimately destroyed. Excellent performance in locating and... Ah, okay, so it was our target. We did it. New orders to be transmitted, so it was just one hostile contact. Fair enough. Red subs sunk, 25th of November 1984. It's always better to check to see if there are any other submarines, because it's always a pain in the arse failing the mission because you didn't look thoroughly enough. Anyway, the Pentagon today has revealed that several Soviet submarines attempting an incursion near Torshavn on the Faroe Islands had been destroyed or driven off by coordinated efforts of NATO surface vessels, submarines and aircraft. The continued cooperation of NATO members was cited as pivotal to the successful outcome of this operation. Ongoing protection of many NATO-allied military installations throughout the theatre remains a high priority. NATO's ability to maintain control of the region is founded on these bases. It's good shit. Okay, so we got more submarines, Jesus. Okay, tactical situation, 25th of November 1984, 0300 hours, top secret. Intel reports that a wolf pack of enemy diesel-electric attack submarines will sail within the next 7 days to attempt to transit the Guic area, the Greenland-Iceland-UK gap. They must be sunk before they can get the opportunity to cause mayhem along the North Atlantic convoy routes. Intelligence believes the pack may consist of at least 2 to 4 Foxtrot or Romeo-class submarines. So they're going to attempt to transit the Greenland-Iceland-UK gap, so somewhere around here. Maybe the Denmark Strait, hard to say. We'll probably intercept them somewhere in the North Sea, or the Norwegian Sea here. Hopefully we've not been detected by ASW here. Here's our target. Looks like this is the one we're after. I'm going to move in to intercept them. In shallow water. Oh. Stand by. Unknown contact. Captain. New sonar contact. Bearing 050. Designate Sierra 1. EXO reports depth is 600 feet. Heading 058. Speed 20 knots. Local conditions are broken with a light breeze, and there is a moderate surface duct and thermal layer at 129 feet. All hands to battle stations. Rig ship for silent running.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Okay, we didn't reload Tube 1 again because we're useless. Contacts are unknown as of this time.
Sonar new contact bearing 050. Designated Sierra 1.
Sierra 1. Let's check surface shipping because we knew there were some unknown ASW patrols in the area. Yep, we're being pinged by military sonar, so it's definitely
sonar new contact
some kind of ASW setup.
Designated Sierra 2.
They are screening for submarines. Looks like we've got a Eudaloy right off the bat. Nasty
sonar
ship.
Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
Escort, Eudaloy ship.
Sonar new
and then a
contact
Cresta
bearing
2.
055. Designated Sierra 3.
Sierra 3's up. Looks like we've got 2 Cresta 2s.
Sonar Sierra 3
and a
is
Eudaloy.
classified as escort.
Nasty fleet here, okay. I don't know how close the fleet is. If it's to be believed, the Eudaloy is a mere 7,000 yards away, which is really bad news for us. In fact, he can actually detect us.
Sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the
Right.
water, bearing
Fire
0,
snapshot
5,
on the...
0.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, set all weapons to surface search. Fire an MOSS on the bearing of the fleet.
Shoot Tube 4. Aye, sir.
We want active homing on all warheads. We're going to fire a snapshot at the Eudaloy.
Shoot Tube 2.
We're going to fire
Aye,
a
sir.
snapshot at the Cresta.
Con, fire control, we've
I'm going
lost
to fire
the
a
wire.
snapshot at the Cresta 3.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Right, all ahead flank. Give us 30
Make
degrees
turn
right rudder.
3,
Oh shit, this is
0,
going to hit.
Knot. Maneuvering eye.
Bollocks, they got us. Took too long. Okay, well, can we abandon ship? Hull breach? Nope. We're going to lose the ship. 2 Cresta 2s. God, it was fucking 7,000 yards of Cresta 2. Ship, well, we got buried at sea. Nuclear sub sunk. Is that the end of the campaign right there? UK, yep. Campaign's over. Iron Curtain draws over Europe. Damn, got fucked up. The Sculpin sinks. Missions accomplished. God, that was a bit harsh. I guess that's the nature of the game, isn't it? Damn, we got fucked up. 2 Cresta 2s and a Eudaloy right on top of us. All my fault, I know. Well, to be fair, what I should have done is sped up earlier. I wanted to fire off my weapons to engage the contacts. I should have just snapshotted them on passive homing Yeah, I wanted to try and get them all to shallow search. I was hoping that my decoy would do a better job at sucking up the enemy torpedo, but I don't know whether the torpedo just didn't take the bait or whether the MOSS was too close to me, likely the latter. But yeah, that's what sunk us. So, damn and blast. So yeah, fair enough. What we'll do then, I'm going to load up another campaign. The question is, which campaign do we want to do? We'll just go for North Atlantic, North Atlantic 1984. Which submarine do we want to play in? Depth and decoys could have worked. We were already as deep as we could go. 600 feet is what we were at, and 700 feet is the test depth of the skipjack. We couldn't go much deeper, unfortunately. It seems karma for killing the whales has come back. Yep, well, you can't win them all, so... Yep, I'm the only sub in the entire NATO fleet, it's true. Whiskey class, yeah. So, yeah, for people who aren't very well versed in cold waters, the NATO submarines for the 84 campaign we have at our disposal are the Los Angeles, the Narwhal, the Sturgeon, the Permit, and the Skipjack. So we just played in the Skipjack, so we won't do that one again, just for the sake of variety. So we've got a choice between the Los Angeles. This is the most modern nuclear attack submarine in the arsenal. It's very big, but is very well equipped. We've also got the Narwhal, which is the quietest submarine to be produced until the 1990s when the Seawolf class is developed. So this is an extremely quiet submarine. We've also got the Sturgeon, which is the bread and butter submarine for the American fleet at this time, and the Permit, previously known as the Thresher class. This ship is a little bit outdated at the point in the 1984 campaign, but still very much in service. So we've got a few requests for Narwhal, a few Sturgeons, Narwhal. Any chance of the Jive Turkey class? Ah, no. A few more Narwhals. Narwhal again. Narwhal, 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 Narwhal. Okay, we shall go with the Narwhal class. Here it is. So the Narwhal class. Here we are. This is a one-off design intended to take advantage of the very quiet natural circulation of the S5G nuclear power plant. So it's got an experimental nuclear power plant built into a Sturgeon-class submarine. So this is a Sturgeon-class submarine that has had its nuclear power plant ripped out and changed with a natural circulation S5G nuclear power plant. Totally experimental and was built as a one-off. This made it into one of the quietest boats until the emergence of the SSN-21 Seawolf in the mid-90s. The sonar and fire control system is the same as the Sturgeon class, so it's literally a Sturgeon submarine with advanced quieting. Exactly right. It also comes equipped with much better sonar arrays than our previous Skipjack submarine, and a slightly better fire control system allowing two weapons to run simultaneously with separate wires. It also has a several hundred feet crush depth or test depth of 1,320 feet, which means we're able to go much deeper than we were in the Skipjack, and has a full outfit of both torpedoes and missiles, which is nice. So yeah, we're going to jump in with the Narwhal then. Effective immediately, you are hereby assigned command of the Narwhal-class submarine USS Narwhal SSN 671. Good luck in your new command. Here we go, we know the story of the campaign. Spam through that. Here we are. So, our first mission, tactical situation. Intelligence estimates indicate that enemy Spetsnaz commandos will land from submarine in the vicinity of Spitsbergen within the next week. You are ordered to intercept and eliminate them before they land. Nice and simple. So within the next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearm and repair. I'm carrying 8 UGMs at the moment, but I don't care for them. So instead, what I'm going to do is unload them all and reload them all with Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. Continue search for enemy submarines as deemed unproductive. So that's fine. So we always lose the first mission when you reload. So they land and sabotage a base, terror in Spitsbergen. That's fine. So now we get on to the next mission. Intel reports suggest that a wolf pack of enemy diesel-electric attack subs will sail within the next 7 days and attempt to transit the Guick area. They must be sunk before they get the opportunity to cause mayhem along the North Atlantic convoy routes. Intelligence believes the pack may consist of 2 to 4 Foxtrot or Romeo-class submarines. There we go. So where are they trying to... Sorry, it's the Denmark Strait, the Guick area. So just the Guick area. Okay, cast off. So now we've got a full outfit of stuff. Spitsbergen, yes, okay. There's a small attack on Spitsbergen. That's fine. So we're after submarines here, not necessarily these ASW ships. These ASWs are designed to sink my submarines, so we need to be careful. We're on patrol speed, 10 knots, 150 meters of depth. Here we go, this could be our target. Let's move down and intercept. Okay, West Germany lost. The Warsaw Pact forces are now in total control of West Germany. Yep, been there, done that. Let's get down and intercept these guys. We're coming in from the rear, so that should be a bit better. Captain, we have a new sonar contact. Bearing 004. Designate Sierra 1. EXO reports depth is 600 feet. Heading 071. Speed is 20 knots. We're a lot slower than the previous submarine, I should state. Local conditions are clear, with a weak surface duct and thermal layer at 288 feet, or 228 feet. All hands to battle stations, reach ship for silent running.
Break ship for ultra quiet.
Now, our submarine
600 feet.
is an extremely quiet 115 decibels, like silent.
Sonar new contact bearing 096. Designated Sierra 1.
So we're going to take advantage of that here. Also, I don't want any rise on the
new
planes.
contact bearing 145. Designated Sierra 2.
So we've got 2 hostile contacts detected by our low frequency sonar array. Make that 3.
200. Designated Sierra 3.
So looks like Sierra 1 might actually be civilian shipping.
Sonar new contact bearing 156. Designated Sierra 4.
Not quite the Andazan. Could be trawler. Looks like we've got a trawler in the vicinity. Just pushing my nose into the screen. Yep, that's a trawler.
Con sonar Sierra 1 is classified as merchant.
This looks like a submarine. Which submarine is it though? Is it one of the submarines that they've told us to look out for? Romeo or Foxtrot class? Looks like a Foxtrot.
Con sonar Sierra 3 is classified as submerged submarine.
We've got a weird submarine contact here. Is this a submarine contact? What a strange contact. Or is this biologic? This is going to be biologic, isn't it? Yep. So we've got a blue whale in the AO.
Con sonar Sierra 2 is classified as biologic.
We also had Sierra 4, but we've lost contact with them. Sierra 4 was at 30,000 yards. So it's just the Foxtrot that we're stalking at the moment. Range to the Foxtrot is an estimated 4,000 yards. We are apparently in the contact's baffles, however, so we're going to fire a snapshot on the target. So, firing point procedures, bearing... Let's see here. Bearing 204. Range to enable 3,300 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 3.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. We're going to maintain our current course. Rip the blue whale and try. We're not killing all of the. I swear, you guys are actually the worst. They actually just want death to all of the whales. I don't have as many torpedoes this time, so I've got to be sparing with them. Oh dear, stretchy legs. Oh, there we go. There is the contact. Activate the warhead. Contact is a little bit shallower than we are, so let's bring the weapon up to him. Sonar solution is a little bit inaccurate as the
sonar new contact bearing
Sierra 5.
146. Designated Sierra 5.
Just while the weapon is tracking towards the Foxtrot, let's try and designate Sierra 5. What have we got? Looks like some more biologic actually, now that I look at it. No, it's not biologic, it's not any oil rig. Let's check civilian shipping. Looks like it could be a trawler. Yeah, we'll mark it as a trawler.
Con sonar, Sierra 5 is con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Launch transient from Sierra 3, so he's down here somewhere. So we set the weapon to active homing. He's fired a spread back at me, which is fine. There they are. 2 weapons coming in. Right, we need to head a little bit further to the right.
Con, fire.
Come right to 086 Helm
We
I.
need to cut the wire, and then we need to reload an MOSS in tube 2. We now need to step it up to a head flank.
Make turns for 25 knots. Maneuvering I.
We need to try and get out of the way of these incoming weapons.
Con sonar, lost contact, Sierra 5, last bearing.
Con, helm, steady course.
There we go. The whale looked funny.
Con sonar, lost contact, Sierra 3, last bearing 201, contact faded.
Delantio, thank you very much, mate. 0405, thanks very much. Perfect. Okay, so Dylan, or Dylan, Delantia, Dylan. I'm going to call you Dylan. Yeah, basically, our skipjack got sunk because I hesitated in launching my torpedoes and in manoeuvring out of the way. I thought I had more time. Holy shit, dingo! Gas all whales and trawlers. You can't just sink civilian shipping and wildlife. It's just, you can't do it. It's not allowed. But I think considering you've done 1,000 bits, we might be able to let it slide this
Con
time.
sonar, lost contact, Sierra 2, last bearing 159, contact faded. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 204.
They'll never know. It's true. You were saying? Oh, God. Well,
Con, torpedo room,
Rip.
tube 3 ready.
do you expect us to care? Look, it's wrong. It's I can't honestly stream. It's you're bad people.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 25 knots.
You can, maybe you shouldn't, but you most definitely can. Do not torpedo the poor whale. Look, Team Torpedo Whale here is at 1,100 bits. They're in the bidding. They're better off. Has he actually evaded this weapon? Tell me he hasn't.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 2.
He's leaving a proper little treasure trail for him. A bit war. Oh, are we tracking? I think we're tracking the target. The pings are getting closer together.
Con sonar, lost contact.
Contact engaged
Sierra
and destroyed.
3,
Right.
Last bearing 208, contact breaking up.
There are those weapons back there. That's perfect. Right, we're now out of the way of the incoming weapons. Bring us back down to a head 1/3, please, manoeuvring. 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
Let's fire a few blasts of active sonar, see if we get any returns.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Bring us up to 400 feet.
Make depth 400 feet. Dive by.
Support's alright, he's bumping up that side. Look, it's there's not much chance. It looks like the crew have spoken,
Turns for 5 knots.
and there's clearly some level of espionage going on.
Regained contact on
Oh, my
Sierra
God.
4, bearing 184. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 5, bearing 161.
So we're sinking a civilian. We're sinking a fishing
Con
boat
sonar,
from Denmark.
launch transient
Oh,
from
fuck.
Sierra 5.
Sierra 5? Where the fuck is Sierra 5? What? Sierra 5 is not a trawler. I don't know where Sierra 5 fucking is. It's like super inaccurate. Sierra 5 is a hostile contact then. Stand by. We're going to keep our active sonar on for the moment. We're going to try and improve the oh my god, okay. Right, he's pinging us.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.
There we go. This is why you always ping. Right, so there is... Sierra 5 is in fact a hostile contact. Let's analyse what we know it to be. Looks like it's some kind of surface shipping. Hard to say. Dubna? Aguma? Andazan? Anyone? Something ain't right. Sierra 5 couldn't have possibly launched a weapon. It doesn't match any known signatures of any It's not a military ship. How could Sierra 5 have launched? Bring us up to periscope depth, please. I need to fucking identify this target. I need to see if it's a trawler or not. Yeah, you skipped it. It saw sorry, you skipped it. I saw a match. Looks like the whiskey. Stand by. Sierra 5. No, it's not right. It's not a whiskey. It's not. It doesn't. It doesn't match here. It doesn't match. It doesn't match here, and it doesn't match here. Right, fire down the bearing of last known contact, or from the weapon of the launch. The bearing of launch transient. Snapshot bearing 170, range 10,200 yards. Fire tube 4.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Set it to active homing, snaking, search. We have to change course right now. Helm, bring us left.
Come left to.
Bearing 267.
Helm aye.
And bring us ahead flank. Take us down, please.
Make
dive.
turns forward.
400 knots.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Enemy weapons are searching deep, but not quite deep enough. Searching at about 300
Con
feet.
sonar lost contact.
Bring us down
Sierra
to
passing 100 feet.
800 feet, please dive.
Make depth 800 feet, dive by.
No,
Con sonar
750.
lost contact.
Make depth 750 feet, dive
750 feet. Reload. Mark 48 in tube 4.
Con sonar regained contact.
Con maneuvering. Making
Con sonar no longer cavitating.
No longer cavitating, aye? There we go. 400 knots, yeah. My bad.
Con helm.
Shit's getting real, sorry. my brain farted then. That trawler. All of this is happening under this trawler, and he has no idea. He's got no military... This guy, again, we can't quite see him, but this guy here has no idea what's happening around him. Like, he doesn't have a clue. Like, he doesn't have any sonar. He's just here fishing. Like, literally, all of this is happening, and he has no idea. Right underneath him, the Cold War has turned hot. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. We're now coming down to 750 feet. We're at a head flank. We're in torpedo evasion. We're trying to get out of the way of these incoming weapons. They do have fishing sonar. It's true, I suppose.
Dive at 750 feet, dive by.
Ignorant bliss. There we go, weapons have gone active. They're searching shallow. Perfect, perfect. It's going into a circular search in shallow.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Holy shit. Another launch transient. Just fired off. There it is. So if he just fired again, does he know exactly where we are? I'm going to keep up this top speed. We're going to change course, bearing 234.
Come left to 234. Helm aye. Con, helm, steady course.
Steady course, aye. Okay. You reckon it's a Romeo? It's hard to say. We've lost contact with him. He's out there. We can see him burning through there. Let's rig ship for silent running.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's slow it down to 5 knots and try and do a...
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 185.
Genuinely quite an interesting engagement to start with.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 158.
Noisemaker. He's scared about this weapon. I would be too. The weapon's going to come in and find him at this rate. It's got an active homing warhead. Going to activate very shortly. Go into a snaking search and detect him, fingers crossed. Come on, lad, you got this.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing
He's laying a treasure trail.
Con sonar new contact bearing 158. Designated Sierra 6.
Sierra 6? What do you mean Sierra 6? Where the fuck from?
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4
Foxtrot.
bearing 164.
So Sierra 6 we've identified. Come on, you need to activate
Keep the
now.
change, you filthy animal.
Could do some whale fishing. This weapon, there we go. Weapon's active.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 159.
Why is this weapon going into a circular search? Has it found something? Oh, yep, it's found something. Weapons found Sierra 4. Okay. Good stuff. Weapons now tracking a target. Hopefully it's not tracking that vessel. There's a Foxtrot now, apparently. Sierra 6. From fucking somewhere. Contact engaged and
sonar
destroyed.
Lost contact. Sierra 4. Last bearing 172. Contact faded.
So that was Sierra 4. That wasn't even
Con
Sierra
sonar
fucking
lost
5.
Contact. Sierra 6. Last bearing 159. Contact faded.
Oh, that was Sierra 6, maybe. What is going on? So was it Sierra 4 or Sierra 5 that was the contact? Hello? Right, 25 knots. We've got to get out of the way of this weapon.
5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Sierra 4 was a whale. I don't think it was. And I don't think we engaged the whale. I don't know who we sank. I think Foxtrot just sank. I don't know. Was Sierra 4 a whale? Oh no. Was it a whale? Don't be telling me it was a whale. It can't have been a whale. It was dropping decoys. Oh no. Go active. Sure.
Con sonar switching to active search.
There's that whale. There's that one whale. Don't believe it. Did we engage the Foxtrot? Many question marks. Oh yeah, we got pinged again. Right.
Con sonar switching to passive search.
Foxtrot's still out there. Launch transient on our current bearing. Rig ship for silent running. Let's see where it came from. There's still one contact out here. 2-1. Let's get that ready. Active homing. Same depth search. Bring us south. Bearing 198.
Come left to 198. Helm I.
Okay, that weapon there is back on target. We're now out of the way of that. In fact, helm, bring us...
Making turns for
Yep, 5 knots, thank you. Bring us left bearing 102.
Come left to 102. Helm I.
Need to find this guy. I think the Foxtrot's still up. Okay. No, we'll go firing point procedures from tube 4. So firing point procedures, snapshot, bearing 148, range 5,000 yards, ship ready, tube ready, fire, tube 4.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
I don't want it to chase the whale. Don't chase the whale. I mean, at the very least, we're getting it out of the way, right? Okay, we'll fire another weapon. Fire on the bearing of last known coordinates of Sierra 6. Firing point procedures, bearing 148, range to enable 5,200 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 2.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Helm, just come right a little bit to maintain the wire, bearing 111. No, 120.
Come right to 120. Helm I.
Don't believe it. The poor whale. Quick, the whale hunting music. Oh god, no. Can you not? Oh.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last
You did
bearing
this.
160. Contact faded.
That whale was actually much closer than I thought it was. Holy shit, I thought I was going to have time to go over and click it.
Con, helm, steady course.
Right, activate the weapon. We're now on active search. We're now searching for the Foxtrot. Hopefully that trawler gets out of the way. Reload tube 4, 1 times Mark 48. Release ship from ultra quiet running. Where was his last snapshot? That's my weapon. Let's bring it up shallow. Or shallower. Hopefully it doesn't get sucked up on the trawler. I mean, I can hope, but it's going to.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Well. Literally, why is there so much civilian, like, why is there so much crap just right here? Like, oh my god, right. Firing point procedures, last known coordinates of Sierra 6. Bearing 152, range to enable 6,200 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, fire tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Killing everything but the enemy. Well, they shouldn't be fishing here.
Con sonar regained contact on
there he
Sierra 6, bearing 1.
It's like, come on, there's a war on. Like, what are you doing? The Danish fisherman, yeah. Rip the fisherman.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
When's the next Long Dark stream? That's the point. I haven't played the Long Dark in a while. I feel like, I know it's like, it's one of those, I think I played it too much and I burnt out a little bit on it. Like, it's literally just the same thing every day. That's what it takes to survive in the game. But I don't know, I just got a bit bored of doing the same thing every day, just going out, eating some meat, getting intestinal parasites, sleeping off for 6 days, you know, or 10 days in that case. Like, I don't know, I got a little bit bored of it. Is that an incoming weapon? No, that's an outbound weapon.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 189. Contact breaking up.
Your boy is gone, mate. Fucking hell, like... A Mark 48 torpedo against a fishing boat would open it like a tin of sardines. Like, it should have... Like, look at the size of the hole! Jesus Christ. Okay, well, activate the weapon. Let's find him. Ethical warfare. Not a war crime if there aren't any survivors. You work on such a fishing trawler. Oh, bloody hell. Good man.
Oh, yeah.
Silix. Cest Silix. Thank you very much, mate. That's a court-martialing. Well, launched a torp, you killed that whale. Good job. Yeah, I know. I know. Any Danes? Any Danes in? Yep. Probably.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Oh, well, we found something. Is it another whale? What have you found for me?
Con sonar.
It's the
Noisemaker
Foxtrot.
Bearing
Ding, 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 ding.
1.
We found him.
Con sonar. Noisemaker
Ding, ding, ding,
bearing
ding.
139.
Or is this going to be... Oh, no, you aren't successfully evading this. Not if I have anything to say about it, sweetheart.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
We're ready for that. Where are you? Where are you?
Con sonar. lost
Oh, there we
contact.
go. We got him.
Sierra 6.
Broke
last
his back,
bearing
yo-ho,
1.
leave combat, 2 times Foxtrot sunk, and it was the target as well. Perfect. Right. I am going to bugger off now. I'm going to go make some lunch, and I'm going to watch this Periscope down film that people keep telling me to watch, because apparently it's a good film. So, excellent. What I'm going to do is I am going to pass you on to Jane, who's one of the Discord moderators, who is doing some shite behind the scenes, I think. I don't know. She's doing some creative stuff, apparently. So... excellent stuff there. We killed more civilians than we did hostiles, and we got ourselves sunk in our skipjack. So, hope you enjoyed that. I am, yeah, gonna go make something to eat. So I shall see you probably this evening, if not tomorrow. So yeah, take care guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.